Now, we look at the crisis in the APC, rather the crack within, especially as we head 2027 elections. Aliyu Audu, you've already told the Nigerians, so to speak, why you had to take the decision you took, resigning your appointment as Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Affairs. But then, looking at some of the concerns, I understand you talked about the fact that the party, so to speak, is drifting, or the government itself is drifting from, the concept or the ideals or what you stand for, and this is also in line with quite a number of people have said. For instance, when Nasir El-Rufai, Governor of Kaduna State, while sleeping, he talked about the fact that the APC, is changing, in terms of its values and what have you. Tell me why this is happening, at a time the ruling party needs to consolidate ahead of the election.
I mean, it's basically because we've run a society where justice doesn't matter. I mean, like Doctor said, where there is no accountability, there are no consequences for action. I mean, this 26 years of democracy, untruncated, like, I think about, in the last 5 years, for the first 20 years, any well-meaning party, political party, should start to take seriously the concept of ideology, not just, in good words, but in practice, and we haven't seen that, and one of the reasons we voted for the current president is because we have always seen him to be a Democrat and a progressive, and his actions so far as a president, has not quite matched up to what a progressive or a Democrat should be in terms of policies, politicking, Economic policies, I mean, great, it's done well about the best, but that's not all. The best of policies will probably give you 30 to 35% of the overall score for good governance. The best of policies can't take more than 35% of your, component for good governance. In this case, we need institutions. You can't be protecting or building institutions when you are destroying institutions.
Can you cite instances? Because even the president just recently, in his speech, during the June 12th, re-emphasized the fact that he is a Democrat and he understands the value of, building institutions, and he also understands the value of allowing a free space, a public space. He was responding to those who felt, he's trying to muzzle everyone and then capture the state or make it go along the one-party state trajectory. Tell me, specifically what you think the government is doing, that what the president is doing that is undermining democratic values.
His relationship with Wike, for instance, is one. Then his silence in suspension of, a senator representing Kogi Central is another. Then his imposition of Abdullahi Ganduje as national chairman is another. But prior to this, positions were allocated across the 6 geopolitical zone. The national chairman was zoned to North Central. All of the drama with Abdullahi Adamu prior to the primary election that produced the current president, and then he removed Abdullahi Adamu and he brought in Ganduje. Ganduje is from Northwest. Abdullahi Adamu is from North Central. All the other positions that were affected have been replaced by people from the exact states, except for Nasarawa. And it's even more unfair considering the fact that, the first runner for this position, His Excellency Abdullahi Tanko Al-Makura, was not Abdullahi Tanko Al-Makura, was actually denied because of his presumed closeness with the current president. So when a leader does not prioritize justice, fairness, equity, when there's no sense of fairness, then you know, it's a problem.
But some will find it difficult to, accept this narrative because they will say, you've been part of the government even at the point, right from inception, so to speak, when the president decided to pick Abdullahi Umar Ganduje as, the chairman of the party to replace Abdullahi Adamu, you didn't voice out until now.
Who didn't?
Quite a number of people felt.
Did you say I didn't voice out?
But you've been part of the.
Yeah. Did you just say I didn't voice out?
Perhaps maybe not as loudly as it is today.
I don't understand. I mean, could I have resigned twice?
No, but right from inception, perhaps you
exactly.
Have taken.
I mean, it was even before I was given an appointment, and I wrote a piece that went around, and I said it that the choice of Abdullahi Adamu was immoral, was unfair, and was unjust. That went round within the APC circle. The president had just gone into office. Now, what did you want me to do? Start fighting him?
Yeah, but for instance, when he appointed you, you could say, okay, I will not take this appointment because you haven't done the right thing here.
When you get such appointment, you treat it the way you want to treat it. I've just done the way I want to treat it.
Right. Okay. Now, we'll still talk about that because some felt that the current arrangement, realignment that is happening, or the changing dynamics, especially within the politics in the APC, may even bring more deeper crisis because some say the covert plans, to replace the current vice president was actually to pave way for a running mate from the North Central. And some say, there are people who have felt that, okay, we can allow.
I'm not in the business of guessing.
Yeah.
Or rumor mongering.
It's not about rumor mongering.
Hold on.
What happened.
I would like us to stick to what has happened or what has been said. What someone thinks is not my business.
But you saw what happened in Gombe. How the party is boiling because of.
I wasn't there, and I don't think it's been worth my following, and I haven't. So if it's about that, I really have nothing to say about that. But if you are talking about the state of the party, then I will tell you that it is expected for a party that has worked for the success of a president, and for the president to prioritize bringing the same people that the people in the party defeated yesterday to sit on top of these people. I mean, Abuja, FCT, APC as we speak. The Wike minister controls the APC in FCT, him and Aduda, and controls the PDP in FCT. That is undemocratic, let alone progressive.
Do you have facts to prove that?
Are you telling me? I'm a card-carrying member of the APC in FCT. I ran for local government chairman in this town in 2015. I did the primary. I did not win, but because I was able to test myself, and I was impressed with my performance, I stayed true and I stayed loyal to my party, and I defended my party and my government till this point. But we're at a point where Wike has brought the sitting PDP chairman, Mekalangu, he has taken him to Ganduje, who has called the state APC chairman, to get him to change into APC if he wants to be re-elected. That is no longer election. That is no longer democracy. And by that, if the president supports Wike who does that, then he does not have my support. Then it will be hypocritical for such president to sit as ECOWAS chairman to say anything about the juntas in Mali or in Niger, because what we currently practice is not democracy. If this is what he calls democracy, this is not democracy.
Yeah, but he didn't hide his opinion. I mean, his reasoning on this. Recently, he did mention that, in fact, he wouldn't be a part of those who say, okay, you have an internal crisis in the PDP, for instance. Let me help you douse the tension. He would have loved to see them even in disarray.
So is that?
Say that.
I mean, hold on. That should worry anybody. Yes, it should worry you. If the number one citizen of the country, if the number one leader of the country, say he would rather see a subsect of the country in disarray, there's not sportsmanly about that.
But it's talking about politics. Politics is, it is.
Do you know what politics is? Do you know what they call politics? Politics is the affairs of community. Let's not get it wrong. Let's not call crazy politics. Let's not call unfairness politics. Let's not call injustice politics. Politics is not an English word. It's a Greek phrase. Politrix, that is the affairs of the city, affairs of the community. The management of the affairs of the community is politics. It is not evil. When you turn the management of the politics into evil, you are teaching the children that evil is allowed. I won't be a part of that. I won't support such a president. And I work against him for the election. I've said that and I made it clear.
Right. Beyond Wike, there are people who felt that you also agreed perhaps because of the arrangement within the architecture in terms of
they say who? Me, I'm agreed.
Spokespersons, so to speak. For instance, there are those who felt that just like you agreed that the president is prioritizing people who are not from the party or who came from elsewhere.
Let me make it easy for you. I have every problem that Mr. President appointed Bwala as a special advisor. Yeah. Is that what you're finding difficult to say?
Yeah, I'm coming to
I am telling you that I have a problem with that. It's an insult to every single one of us who have worked on the other side, who has seen Bwala call our principal all sorts of names. Then he turns around to appoint him as his spokesperson. I can't trust such a person. One of the reasons I left, I can't have a snake in my team and go to work with my eyes open or my eyes closed. No, I don't do that.
Well, is it just about the appointment? Because that's what I'm driving at. Because some say perhaps it's because people like you agree because you are not given perhaps resources or your offices have not been allocated. Budgets and all of that. And that's
I don't know who you are listening to, right?
No, quite a number.
I don't know who you are listening to, but I'll tell you something. I have just given you a reason why I am aggrieved. Yeah. And a reason why my grievance has led me to resigning and picking a position against the sitting president come 2027.
Okay.
And I think I have good enough reason. Yeah. You see, all these other ones you're thinking, they are too small to catch my attention. If that's what you brought me here for, then it's not for me. You can discuss it with those set of people who give you those ideas. You can discuss it with them. But if you have real issues,
that's the essence
let's have conversation.
That's the essence of the conversation.
No, but all you've been saying is no.
Because
don't tell me to clarify.
If there are some misconceptions.
I made it earlier. Don't tell me to clarify hearsay or rumors. No, I'm not going to spend my energy on that.
But you just confirm one here that the reason why you left is because of the appointment of Bwala, and then and all of that.
Yeah, okay. I saw you were trying to make that, and it was difficult for you, so I helped you out.
Okay, no problem. Let's look at going forward. You talked about the APC Rebirth, but it seems you're isolating some people. How do you intend to actualize this rebirth? If actually these are the kind of people that you are targeting, or you think are making the president to take the wrong steps.
Who am I isolating?
In the larger picture.
Who am I isolating?
You talked about Wike, for instance.
Is Wike a member of the APC? No, he isn't. So what's Wike doing in our government?
He's also influential in the APC arrangement.
That is undemocratic, and that is purely undemocratic. And it means Mr. President and Wike are involved in some undemocratic practices which could undermine democracy. And I think the international community should be very wary of that.
Okay. So how do you intend to go about this APC Rebirth? Let me get your perspective, because
we have always gone about it. Yeah. We have always pushed for the leadership of the party to ensure that to ensure internal democracy, to ensure fairness, justice, and equity for every member of the party. And we're not going to stop now. It's going to continue, because there are a lot of things that are, like I said earlier, how Ganduje is the national chairman is unfair, unjust, and undemocratic.
Okay.
So that should be taken care of. How we, as a party, to pretend over a National Assembly that suspends an entire senatorial zone when there are countless court judgments that say the National Assembly and their leadership cannot suspend a lawmaker by more than a day, by more than a session, a day session of assembly. This has been over 3 months, and we are quiet about it, and we are the party in government. That is undemocratic.
Okay, now, if I understand your position, you're going to fight within to ensure that the right things are done. Because we've seen the likes of RFI, switching allegiance, dumping the party to SDP. In your own case, you intend to fight within. How do you intend to galvanize, support? Or
there are a lot of well-meaning party members who are just fed up with the way the party has been managed for the past 12 years, because certain people think it's their right for the rest of us to sacrifice our lives for them to achieve their dreams and sacrifice our dreams for them to retain whatever it is. I mean, it seems like it's a family affair, you know, where it's become a selection and not an election, where they pick who should and who shouldn't. That is not democracy. The very free will that God, the creator of heaven and earth, has given to mankind has been denied by that. The very essence of democracy is that freedom that it gives every man to make a choice. If you deny people that choice, it is undemocratic, it is ungodly, and it's immoral. And it has to be stopped, not just by the APC member, but by every well-meaning citizen of Nigeria. Let me tell you something. Kagame, Museveni, Biya, Putin, all have come in as reformists. And have all ended up being either a dictator or authoritarians. The signs are always there. Let's bring it home to our own Obasanjo. He attempted a third term. This was someone who, as at 98, was in prison, was brought out by the grace of God to be made the president. Tried to change our constitution, bribed the entire National Assembly, bribed some governors for third term. He failed, but there were no penalties. There were no repercussions for those who received money and those who gave money. And that is why it is possible for anyone to minutely, the thought of any sitting president, to think that it is okay to silence opposition. To think it is okay to invest state power, because the office of the minister of the FCT is state power. It's not APC power. It's not PD power. It's state power. So if Wike uses that office to clamp down PDP, you are using the laws and the force of the land to create oppression. And if that is okay in the eyes of the president, then it means the president is taking steps towards what should scare every single one of us, no matter how much we love him.
Right. Okay, talk to me about the other grievance. I understand you're also interested, or you're pushing for the need to have an inclusive kind of governance. Your concern around this, the lopsidedness, you know, in terms of appointments and so on, so tell me how this is also playing out, and how you think this will affect the.
Quite frankly, while I recognize the lopsidedness of the appointment, I'm not bothered by it. Actually, I will never push for it in that way. It's his prerogative. Right. It's the prerogative of any president to pick. I mean, the kind of people you pick to work with you tells us who you are. Prior to now, I mean, I have thought that, you know, Mr. President is well traveled, he's well read, he's well connected across the country, so there should be no position he's looking for that he can't get from any part of the country. That's what I thought. But I mean, I've been proven wrong, but that's not my issue at all.
So you're not concerned that the party is considered a nepotistic government?
It's not the party that is nepotistic, it's Mr. President who has shown that tendencies that is it's not the party.
Okay, and how do you think that will affect, you know, the calculation ahead of 2027? Because there has been already concerns. Today was in Kaduna. I understand there were some, you know, backlashes
towards 2027. The only thing we will tell Mr. President is to ensure internal democracy and ensure that free primary, because he's going to go through primary within the APC.
There's already given automatic ticket.
That is not there. All those are noises. There's no part of the constitution that said a bunch of people can stand up and say it's automatic ticket. There's no such.
So those endorsements will not count.
Well, I mean, Jonathan had endorsement before we took him out in 2015. Have we forgotten so soon? Those people who are giving endorsement, can they guarantee their own election? Can they?
But if the party, for instance, said, you know, we are solidly behind you
the party has no power. The party has no power to skip the primary election. They have no power. Right. If not, there will be a lot more of Wike in APC than there is Wike in PDP. If they try that.
Right. Okay.
We have given 12 years. Let me say this. Young people, we're not hungry. We had good jobs. We gave 12 years. After occupying Nigeria 2012, we realized we could not fight the ruling class from outside who were bent on stealing our yesterday, stealing our today, and stealing our tomorrow. So we joined the APC because we knew there was a lack of quality of leaders in the public service through the politics. Our goal is to make it possible for the best of heads, the best of mind, the best of human beings to come into politics. Because politics is a matter of, see, there is no such thing as individual success if we collectively fail.
Right, but how do we realize this in this arrangement? Because some would say the same cycle of people that you are talking about are the same cycle of people that are regrouping to take over power. So what changes it?
It doesn't matter who regroup. What matters is who we put in there.
Right.
What matters is who we put in there. I mean, for all the regroupment that happened, has Atiku ever been put in office? No. Did they put Obi in office? No. Did they put any other person in office? No. It means that overall, we are still smart, we are still wise, and we are still a people of God because we are governed. I mean, the love of God shows every time we go to the polls to make decisions. There is, let me say this, there was no better person to have won or lead this country in 2015 than former President Muhammadu Buhari, just as 2023 was the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nobody could have been better by then. But you see, 2027, between now and then, it's enough time and make it a collective responsibility as a people to pick a candidate that is going to be better than the current president, especially in areas that we currently are uncomfortable. You see, policies doesn't matter, it matters, but you see, when anything tampers with democracy, whether by intent or by spoken words or by action, it's an attack on our existence. Because if the democracy fail, we have not gotten over from the civil war that truncated our first republic. We have not gotten over from it. As a nation, we have not healed from that. We cannot afford to let any individual, no matter how powerful he or she may seem, to take us back to the era where we begin to question democracy again.
Right, okay.
No.
Thank you very much. On that very, very patriotic note, we have to come to the end of this conversation. Thank you very much, Aliyu Audu.
Thank you for having me.
To us. Aliyu Audu is the convener of the APC Rebirth Movement, a former SSA to the President on Public Affairs. Thank you very much once again for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And viewers, that's a wrap on today's edition of Daily Politics. Do join us. We'll be back tomorrow with another topic and personalities. Until then, I'm Shapiro Suleiman. Many thanks for being there.